Okay, let's look at the beach program that I was using yesterday. So this program is based off of multi-wet, which you see here. I'm in the beach setting, beach program, which is up at the top. I'm using multi-wet, which you see here over on the left-hand side. I've got my sensitivity turned down because we're inside, but you can adjust your sensitivity accordingly and so on. But just wanted to walk you through some of the settings that I used out on the beach for this last hunt. And it works on my beach. It may not work on yours, but you can give this a shot. Just wanted to share the settings that I use. So let's take a look and dive into those settings real quick. If we hit our little cogwheel menu button down here in the bottom, we're going to see our little icons show up. And of course, you can do your frequency shift first, and then we would go over to our recovery speed. So once we get to recovery, I generally run mine anywhere from 4 to 6. If I'm sort of hunting for deeper targets, I'll run it a little bit lower. Hunting a little bit with maybe some more trash that I'm dealing with, then I would go up in recovery to 5 or 6. But generally that's where I stay, somewhere between 4 and 6. You can adjust this accordingly. If you hit the pinpoint button down at the bottom down here, you hit the pinpoint button, you get your iron filter. I don't have a lot of iron on my beach, so normally I'll run that right around 2. If I go over to my stability setting, I usually run it between 4 and 5. I've got it set on 5, which was what I was using yesterday. It seems to run pretty good running at 5. My bottle cap reject, I like running my machine a little open. This machine does a great job of recognizing those bottle caps, so I will run it at 1 or 2. Generally, I stay in that range. You can adjust this setting accordingly as well. So that's it for that. Ground suppressor, I set at 0 as the default setting. So that is the settings that I'm using there for the recovery and the iron filter, the stability, and the ground suppressor and bottle cap reject. So those were the settings for those. So if we back out of this and we go to our next one, is our volume. I tend to run the volume at 5. My audio gain, I will run it at 5. It goes all the way up to 6. But to hear those real faint targets, you might have to run the audio gain up. So 5 or 4 is generally where I'll run the audio gain. You can adjust that accordingly, and you'll see that we're on audio gain with the AG on the side. So next we will go to our tones, and the tones that I'm using is going to be, we are going to be using, let's go back over here to our tones, and when we get to our tone segments, you'll see we got the little musical note with 1, 2, 3 beside it, but I run pitch tones. You can also run 60 tones, you can run 6, you can run 4, you can run 2, or you can run 1. So you can run the tones however you choose. I'm running pitch. I like pitch. It's what I'm used to with some of my other machines with my Deus 2, and I like running pitch. So the audio tones that I'm using is going to be pitch. So if we back out of that, we go up to our next one, that is going to be our volume. So pitch is divided into two segments, so you can adjust those segments however you choose. Let's go back over, excuse me. So you can adjust those segments however you choose. So the first segment I've got set at a very low volume. If you don't want to hear it at 3, you could bump it down to 2 or 1. Either one would be good. I left it at default, which is set at 3. If you go over to the second segment, I've left it all the way up with a max volume of 10, and that's by default as well. So those are your tone volumes. You'll know that you're in that screen. If you look here, you will see the musical note with the speaker beside it, and that lets you know that you are adjusting the tone volume. So let's scroll over to our next setting, which is going to be, let's back out of this. We go over to our next setting, which is going to be our pitch for the tone. So the different tone segments, you can adjust the pitch to make those things sound really, really high or really, really low. So they're going to have that real high pitch sound or that real low pitch sound. In this case, since we are running pitch, you can adjust your segments just like you did with the volume. You got that first segment, which is 1 through 10 here. We've got it set up at a very low pitch, so it's going to have that grunt sound to it. If you go over to the second segment, you'll notice that I've got it set at 28, which is pretty high pitched sound. So you're going to be able to hear that, and you're going to stop in your tracks when you do hear that. So that sets up the tone pitch for the different segments there on this setting. So let's back out and let's go to our next one, which would be our tone break. And you can set this up wherever you like. The tone break by default is set at 10, but if you need to run it up because something's driving you crazy on your beach, you could run it up just simply by hitting the plus or the minus button, and that will set up your tone break using the pitch option. So again, you could run it to whatever you want and knock out some of those targets that are driving you crazy. But that is the tone break section of this program. So we go back over to our next one, which is going to be our threshold. So when we get to threshold, you can run that little low hum if you choose. Y'all hear it? Turn it up as loud as you want, or you can turn it down. I run it sometimes when I'm on the beach, just to let me know my machine's running, but it's also great for sort of breaking up some of those targets and giving you that sort of a break in that hum. And when you hear that, that will let you know, especially on some deep targets, it'll let you know that there's something there and you need to stop. So again, that is the threshold for this program. I generally run mine off. But if you do want to run it, you can. Totally up to you as far as the threshold. And then the last one over here is the threshold pitch frequency. So you can change how this actually sounds for the hum. So that is what that is doing. It's adjusting the threshold pitch there. So that's pretty much this program and what I was using on the beach. Really makes these targets stand out and pop. It's a dig, not dig, basically type of program. And using multi-wet, I think it runs very well. Again, you'll notice you're in multi-wet with the M and the W. I usually run multi-wet. I usually turn on all metal too. So I run in all metal, multi-wet, and that's generally how I go with this program. So hopefully that helps someone, and just wanted to share those settings with you. and give them a shot. If you like them, that's great. If you don't, no harm, no foul. But that's what I was running today with the Legend. Legend's a great machine, does excellent on the beach. Really like this machine as a beach machine. It really performs very, very well. And I'm going to be using it on a few more occasions too as I head out to the beach. And we're going to be maybe doing some relic hunts with it too. We've got some other coils and things that we want to try with this machine, and sort of going through and giving you guys a good feel for what this machine's capable of. But again, at the price point that it's at, you can't lose. It's got tons of features, and again, I've enjoyed swinging it. Great machine, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. Again, if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for the hunt as the video is next, and we will catch you guys on our next adventure. See you soon.